Hello, everyone. This is Uncle Garrett again. Today, Aunt May is with me, and we're going to
Hello.
do something a little, we haven't done this before, a movie review. We're going to review the movie The Big Chill.
All right.
Yeah, so as I watch the movie, the reviews go something like, this is a very feel good movie. It just, feels so warm. It's all about friends coming together to deal with grief, the loss of their loved one, and it was everybody just loved each other so much. It was just a beautiful movie. Don't you agree?
Well, that's good part, but there's also the part I feel a little bit maybe it's not appropriate.
Right. So I started thinking about the messages in this movie, and the more I thought about it, the more it sounded like a big, nice, warm pot of lasagna with a rotten fish in the middle.
All
So
right.
what do I mean by rotten fish? And I know you found some things that seemed pretty rotten also. Um, so first thing was that the big thing that stood out to me was this whole I'm giving up. The character Meg. I give up. I don't want. I want a husband, but I can't find one. There's nothing. I'm not going to do any self introspection. I'm just going to give up and become a single mother on purpose. And um, and then I'm going, then her friend Sarah, loans out her husband, like a family car or something, thinking about the same level of consequences of loaning him out. And then you have Sam, the TV star, kind of Tom Selleck like. He sounds like a very upright guy. He wants to put good messages into his movie, but at the same time, his TV show. But at the same time, he has the opening scenes are him jumping in bed with two scantily clad women who are so. How is mixing in some positive messages there any good for after you've sent out messages like that. And then there's Nick, the drug addict and dealer, who's somehow functional, um, and then there's um, this love triangle thing between Sarah, Alex, who's now deceased, and Harold, her current husband. Um, and well, let's see, what else did you find there?
My takeaway from this movie is that Sarah made an unwise decision to loan out her husband, which risked her for, you know, all kind of risk could potentially put them back on her, and and I think if she was in a perfect peace and calm state and giving a few weeks or months to consider that, she might say the potential consequences. She might say no,
Right.
but
or
she
or at least someone in real life, maybe not Sarah the character, but
yes, yes, but she was under, uh, sadness and guilt and stress and also her relationship with Harold wasn't that strong. The bond wasn't strong. So all this, she's like drowning, emotional drowning with the hit of Alex's
right,
death.
right,
So she made this donation husband decision under such a emotion distressed state. So she didn't give it much time to consider, just maybe a few hours, I would say. And so this is what I take away is people shouldn't make decision or act when they are emotional stressed or emotional unstable.
Yeah.
Just like Sam, right? And there were 2 times he refused to sex with Meg. And the first time he refused to sex with Karen, right? Because he wanted to stay with his principal when he's calm and peace, right? But then the last night when he had a fight with Nick, his emotion wasn't stable.
Right.
He felt angry, he felt misunderstood, he felt mistaken and judged. So his emotions stirred up. He was upset, he was stressed.
Right.
And then emotionally he wanted to burst. How to burst that? So he accepted Karen's passion.
Right.
So that crossed the line and made it fair. So normally he won't make this bad act.
Right.
But he did because
He didn't want to.
He didn't want
obviously.
to, but his emotion brought him to there. So once again, my takeaway is, people, when you face some big decision or act, just I would say stay away, walk away, give yourself more time to think
Yeah.
about it. It's long term. It's a
Don't-
good
don't
decision
make
for me.
decision under emotional duress.
Never. It's you're going to give yourself a long time to think about it, a few weeks, a few months, think about it. Is that a good decision for me, my future family, my husband, my future marriage, right? When you think about that,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's circle back to the issue of single motherhood. So one of the messages in the movie was that single motherhood is just great. Especially, Meg must be a good mother because she can talk to the children on the phone and call them muffin and coo at them and make them feel really good and happy to talk with her. But she's really, in reality, she's a completely untested mother. But that's not so much the point, is that single motherhood is a thing to avoid. Children of single mothers have the worst academic scores, the highest high school dropout rates, the highest levels of violent crime, and the highest levels of sexual promiscuity. The results speak for themselves, that single motherhood is not good. It's something to be avoided, if at all possible.
Right. So maybe she should think from another angle. Is that what is the best for the child?
Right.
The best for the child is
was-
that the child has a father.
Right. Yeah. Having the desire to have a child was very self-serving, in other words.
That is what she wants.
Right.
But I would say the child wants a father.
Right. Yeah. So daughters with fatherless daughters often seek relationships with men early because there's missing affection from a male as they're growing up. The boys growing up without a father have all kinds of problems because they have no good male role model. They don't know how to be a good man. So all they have is female influence in their lives. And it's generally a disaster.
Yeah, it could be also the scenario that single mother, might have boyfriends, periodically have boyfriends, and that is, for the child, is a bad thing too.
Right. And so then you also noticed that Meg didn't just want to be a mother, she had other motivations.
Yes, yes, yes. So I think maybe Meg doesn't really realize that what she wants is not just a child. Because if that's all she wants, she can just get sperm.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually wants a nice sex
Yeah.
on top of the sperm. And also she wants to sex, on top of that, she also wants to sex with a man that she likes.
Right.
That means she wants to have some loving emotion in the sex.
Yeah. Right. She wanted that loving emotion, and she was happy to take it from her friend Sarah by, quote unquote, borrowing Sarah's husband, Harold.
You know, I think Meg should really refuse it.
Yeah. Well, everyone, all three in that triangle there, should have refused it.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. That's what I'm going to talk next, which is Harold should refuse it too.
There's actually a bond that happens with sex in marriage. You know, when two people come together, a lot of hormones are released, especially oxytocin. That is a bonding hormone. So when you have sex with someone, you're bonded to them. Your body, your mind, your subconscious, they're all bonded. And if you do bed hopping, like happened so much in this movie, right? You're training your body and your subconscious to ignore that the effects of the bonding. And so you're maybe Sarah didn't realize, and you know, the writer director of the movie probably is unaware, because so many people are unaware of this problem, that the more people you sleep with, the harder it is to bond with someone in a marriage setting.
Yeah, yeah. Overall, I think, Sarah's decision to donate her husband is an unwise one.
Right.
She opens the door of all the possibilities of her life, her marriage.
Yeah.
Right? Because,
yeah, like what if Harold and Meg really bond from that?
What if one night doesn't get pregnant?
Yeah.
How many times needed to get pregnant?
Yeah. How many times are you going to loan out your husband like a car?
And each time what's the risk? You know, your husband and your friend are not object. They have emotions. They can grow love. They can fall in love. And if they bond properly, they want to bond exclusively and expel you.
Right.
So
yeah,
she's opened the door of all the possibilities of the things could hit her wrong. So that decision is unwise, and but also Harold and Meg, they should refuse
right
to the setup.
Yeah, if they had any brains at all.
If Meg, wants to loyal the friendship,
yeah, right.
She shouldn't put the love and
right.
emotion in mix in the middle of two friends,
right,
a couple.
It's really emotionally abusing her friend's marriage.
Yes, it is. It is very real risk to damage the friend's marriage.
Right.
And if she truly loves both of them, she should.
She said so. She said she loved them. Everyone in the movie said how much they love each other.
Yeah, I know. People I think love is the word is being abused. when people say I love you, means the emotion, I have the love emotion to you, but that actually doesn't manifest to very deep that say I will do the right thing for you. That's truly the love.
Right.
The true love is very deep. It's that like,
Right.
because I love you, I will do the right thing for you. Or to let the thing go the direction for the best of
Right,
you. That's
right.
love. It's not I have the feeling I love you, but I might act to the best of myself.
Right.
I don't think that's love. That's
Right,
misuse
right.
of love.
Right.
The word.
Right.
Yes.
And same thing between Karen and Sam. They might say they love each other, but they're in giving in, having that extramarital affair, they've really made both of their lives much more difficult. And of course, the movie doesn't show all the consequences down the road of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I actually, shall we just talk a little bit about the caring?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, there is a reason that Richard proposed and married Karen, why Sam didn't.
Right.
That's the reason that even though she didn't feel being loved properly, but she still stayed in the marriage. And that's the same reason that why after sex with Sam, she still want to go back to Richard.
Uh-huh.
Right? So did you see that? Richard is the one proposed to her, not Sam. Richard is the one married her and supported her, not Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And even their marriage is wilting, maybe dying, but there's still reason she wants to stay. She didn't want to divorce him.
Right.
The same reason she wanted to go back to him after sex with Sam. So, I want to tell a message. That is, save your message. Save your message. If your marriage is wilting, is dying, work on it. Save on it.
Save your marriage.
Save your marriage.
Yeah. I thought you said save your message.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't start another one that they don't really want to propose to you.
Did Karen? How much did she express her feelings to Richard? The whole movie, she was completely silent to him. But she opened up to her friends. Why?
Well, that was a thing that she told when she was separated with Sam. She told Sam that all the 15 years you pursued me and also made everybody know you love and pursued me. So yeah, I want to talk about this a little bit about Karen because I think this can relate it to many people. So that especially to women, more and more emotional. We all have, this first love, men or women, the first love.
Mm-hmm.
And then that love we put in is more pure. It doesn't, calculated with the wealth or anything else, right?
Because most of the time it's imagined what it would have been if you had stuck with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So
and
it's
so
idealized.
the first love, then you just feel like all ideal because there's a great passion there, right? And very simple. Right. There's no any impurity contaminate there. So you're just being valued so dearly. Right? Mm-hmm. Even when you later married Miss Right or Mrs. Right, you tend to hold that still dearly, but you're just locked in a safe place, hidden from your spouse. You lock it. But maybe sometimes we have fight with spouse, or sometimes you just feel not right in your marriage, feel down, whatever. You open that the little box, and just that let the first love, that the good memory come out, make you so good, make you feel good, make you feel like also, ironically, also make you feel my husband's so bad, you know?
Right, because
And
you're
compared
comparing
to
your
my first love, he is
right.
what?
Well,
Right?
because you're comparing a real life marriage to this imagined ideal.
At the short-lived, pure passion ideal, because
Right.
that wasn't tested by real life, the
Right.
conflict and the fight and the chores and the stress, all kind of, right? Hasn't
Right.
been tested. So
Right.
you feel right because it hasn't been tested.
Yeah.
But the real life could kill it too.
Right.
The real life could kill your marriage right now. It will kill the first love if you keep going.
Right.
It has that potential too.
Right.
But somehow, I think many people can relate it. I think maybe some of people like that movie maybe because they value their first love. And then but what I think is this. I see if you agree with me. I think once we're married, we should detox and clean, get rid of that attachment to the first love. I think, because in being there is harming to me or us and harming to our marriage, and make us feel our current spouse is less.
Right.
So we do not invest wholly to our current marriage.
Yeah.
We always want to withhold something to enjoy privately,
yeah.
thinking of my first love.
Right.
That is a burden. And I would say that is prevent us being fully enjoy, be open, be bonded deeply, strongly with our current spouse.
Right.
And also, and have this scenario when you in a very emotional and stable state and you meet your first love, so you somehow the current love is dying, somehow you just want to give yourself a green light to do something
Right.
you shouldn't do.
Right. Yeah.
So I would say, detox that first love and use that, turn that energy into build your current love, because that first love did not marry you. That's a reason he or she didn't marry you, and that's a reason your current wife hasn't married you, because they love you more. Trust me.
Yeah.
So they are the better candidate, better foundation. You can build a house on top.
Right.
Don't throw it away and start from a raw land. It's
Right.
much easier.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about Nick.
Okay.
So Nick, the drug dealer.
I'm not sure it's a drug dealer, but
Well, so
he does
yeah,
take drug.
I mean, at one scene he showed him. It showed him pulling a huge brick of
I
cocaine
know.
out
Could
from
be
under
her
his car.
stockpile.
Oh, that
Okay,
I
that
know,
we can
it,
just leave
it looked
aside.
a little large for one person, but
we just leave it alone then.
I think, and the police suspected him of being a drug dealer also. Yeah, well, okay. Not having the experience of being a cocaine addict, I don't know how long it would take for me to get through a brick. But-
Many years, I would guess.
Or, if he just, this is my 3-year stockpile or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know how that
Okay.
works. But, it was such a large quantity that he pulled out from under his car. I assume it was for dealing. And so, but the movie just didn't address that. It was just, who cares if he's a drug dealer? It doesn't matter.
Okay. Actually, I want to touch a little about what's the young girl's name? Chloe told Nick. Oh no, Chloe told her friend that the reason she loved Alex is because Alex is cute. And the reason she later likes Nick is because she told Nick that I feel you just like Alex.
Yeah, it reminds her of
You
Alex.
remind me of Alex because why? Probably because Nick is cute too. Because she seemed to feel happy and feel really like when Nick was doing funny, recording, behave very funny,
Right.
cute.
Right.
So that's once again both Alex and Nick, who Coley likes, are the reason she likes is because they are cute.
Right.
I also heard my real life friend, and later she divorced the guy, and then I asked her. I said, "Why did you marry him? Because at the moment she divorced him, she said he was so bad, blah 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 blah, A B C D E F. I said, then why did you marry him in the first place? And she said, because he was cute.
Yeah.
So, I want to address this cute.
Yeah. And,
So-
it's not the foundation of any love, and not any reason to start any relationship with someone.
So once again, I want to address this. So two things I want to address. Thing number one is that, as I just addressed at the beginning, that nobody should make long-term decision, big decision, under influence of emotion.
Right.
So Chloe is considered to get into a boyfriend relationship with Nick. That is a big decision as a long term, for many years at least, if not a lifetime. It shall not be under the influence of emotion, just feel cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because your lifelong partner or your spouse or even just a boyfriend, you probably will stay for many years, and the quality of that person will directly influence the quality of your happiness, your life. So what you're looking for is the quality of the person, not the person's cute.
Yeah.
Because so many people can be cute, and you can only be boyfriend or a spouse for one person. You're going to find the best one of the if
Right.
you really focus on
Well,
cute, you find the best one among all the cute
there's
ones.
more than that. When people find someone cute, they'll often, I've seen this so many times, they'll make up other reasons because they don't want to just say, oh, because they're cute, right?
Yeah.
They'll admit later, after it's been a huge disaster, oh, it was just because he was cute. But at the time, they'll say, what are the top things? I always hear, oh, he's so smart, he's intelligent, and
It's very
he's,
nice to me. He loves me so much.
oh, and he's funny. He makes me laugh,
Uh-huh.
and so and those are the stereotype, quote unquote, reasons for love, right?
Yeah.
And later on, after the disaster, all those extra things, additional things, just kind of drop. Like, okay, now that I'm being honest, it was just because he was cute.
Even that is quite, I appreciate her to be, honest. Why, guys, that Uncle Garrett has a video called How to Find a Great Boyfriend, another one, How to Find a Great Girlfriend. So if you're considering a partner or a spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, you can get help from there. I bet you get really good tips there. So overall, I think the person you're looking for, the quality of that person is more directly related to the result of a marriage, happiness of marriage, happiness of feeling, life, satisfaction of the marriage. So that is directly linked. Cute is not. Why? Because, if he couldn't handle the conflict or relationship very well, the cuteness will disappear very fast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It evaporates like a snowball in hell, right?
Yes.
As soon as anything gets difficult.
Yes.
And
when they feel bad, the cuteness is gone.
so what is a good reason to fall in love with someone? I think it's virtue. I think
agree
that's
with
the
you.
only thing that really that's like the brick,
I agree with you, and I want to make a add one, which is, the traditional Chinese culture, they do have something quite wise actually. When I was young, and it's about 2 or 3 decades ago, and it's quite typical that. Is suggested from the parents for the young people that are looking for spouse, you should invest 2 to 3 years to be friendly with them before you get into a boyfriend or girlfriend relationship, because you need that time to really know deep down who they are. Do they have virtue? What kind of virtue they have? What's their trigger point? What's their the one they hide so far, but the marriage will all popped out.
Right.
So you need that time to understand, to through the event in the life, through the challenge in the life, you can see through underneath that cute and loving face, maybe there's something else in long term really bother you. So you need time to discover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you say then to the 38-year-old who is divorced or single, and especially a woman who maybe wants more kids, and just even like mid-30s, so 2 to 3 years to be friends, and maybe a year or so to date. So that is, about 4 years at the earliest, and that puts them in their late 30s. And by then, conception for women starts getting pretty difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
So maybe the advice is try not to get into that situation.
Exactly. And I would say, if a woman is that 38 years old and looking for a first-time husband, I would say there's a reason this woman didn't get married.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say find out that reason and to fix it. It's not too late.
Yeah.
As long as you can fix that reason, even you couldn't have a child, you will have a reliable, happy marriage for the rest of your life. It's still better than single it's still better than you divorce every few years and lonely when you
Right.
get after 50,
Right.
when because you lose your beauty and nobody wants to talk to you, and you get lonely after 50. That path, I would say that's for sure loser.
Mm-hmm.
So figure it out. Why by your age 38 you're still looking for the first spouse?
Mm-hmm.
That's a reason. Find it out, improve it, work on it. It's never
Well,
too late.
Obviously, it's all the men's fault. That's all anyone needs to know, right?
You have to let me believe every single man in her life is bad. Which I think that's
Well, or at least every single man.
I think there are always good man, good woman in percentage, more or less, but there are. But let's say there might be a few men in her life, she really like them, she think they are good, but maybe they didn't take her. So find out why.
Right.
Why you couldn't
Right.
attract the top male.
Right.
Why you couldn't. The good male are rare. So if you want to capture, you have to be matching.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a reason. There's always a reason.
The top males
They're
and top
looking for
females will.
top female.
Yeah.
Yes.
And vice versa.
Yes. Always improve yourself. Always. There's always something you can get better.
Right.
Okay. So can I finish my second thought about Chloe?
Chloe. Uh-huh.
Okay. The second thing about Chloe is actually related to what I just said about the Chinese wisdom, that you should take time to know a person before you get into a relationship. Obviously, Chloe, she didn't know Alex, and she didn't know Nick.
Yeah.
She didn't know Alex because she didn't know any signal. She didn't see any signal that Alex going to kill himself.
Right.
So she didn't know him.
Yeah.
And she made a decision. She made a decision to be girlfriend, boyfriend, and she didn't understand this man. She didn't know this man. She couldn't see the sign of anything coming, and
the fact
Alex.
is that
Alex, let me finish. Alex killed himself young. It definitely has something wrong with Alex, and Chloe did not see it.
Right.
And Nick is a drug addict, and Chloe she did not see that. It took time to see
it. Maybe she did,
it.
and she didn't care.
All right, but she should be wise enough to know that there's a reason Nick addicted to drug.
Yeah.
Accept himself to be abused to a state that is just he knows that is bad for him. She just allow himself slip down the slippery hill.
Yeah.
That's a reason.
Yeah.
He decided to let him go to the slippery hill very fast.
In the movie, he's driving around a beat-up old Porsche 911.
Yes.
And it's in terrible shape, right? It's the paint is non-existent.
Yeah.
And you know the lights are all broken out, and I just can't help but think of Nick's Porsche as an allegory for Nick. They're both in this really horrible state.
I would say that's one common thing between Nick and Alex is that their mind is not very strong and tough.
Yes.
So to kill yourself, you try to avoid some pain. And the drug abuse is also avoid some pain. You're not able to strong enough to say, I'm going to face the pain and fix it.
I'm going to confront the pain.
Detox it and repair my emotion.
Right.
Not strong enough to get to that point.
Yeah.
But instead, they try to be, they act cute.
Yeah.
So I would say, my message to the young girls, young people looking for the spouse, like partners, you gonna to take more time, look deeply into what their life, their friends, their family, know more about them. Don't just fall in love because they look cute or you feel love. Because to be honest, human can feel love to multiple people, but you can only choose one as the lifelong spouse. So you begin to be wise and choose the best. Take a time. This is investment. Invest the whole life marriage, whole life happiness.
It's probably the most important decision you'll ever make in your life.
And the most important investment in your life, because you lose dollar, you can get it back. You lose your happiness very hard. You lose your life, that's very hard.
Yeah.
So it's the most important investment in your life. So be careful. Don't date because you feel love.
And don't avoid getting yourself in such an emotional state that you're desperate for love. And that if you're desperate for love, the first person who makes you feel loved, you'll just attach to them. Right?
Yes.
And it could be a disastrous attachment. Okay, so you had one last thing to say about Karen. What was that?
So let me do a little quick touch on the last person I want to talk is Karen, which is, I think, after she proposed to Sam that she wanted to divorce her husband and looking to have a reunion with Sam, and Sam rejected. So by that point, it's very clear to Karen that Sam didn't want to be in her life, and Sam didn't want to have sex with her too.
Yeah.
So that the last night, and when Karen went out to comfort Sam, knowing that Sam will not be in her life, will not be her husband, will not he
Yeah.
didn't want sex with her, and she should refuse to have
Yeah.
sex with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
She shouldn't
In other words,
she shouldn't proceed.
She took advantage of his emotional state to impose her will on him.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that was a bursting time. She said, that would be 15 years you pursue me and made sure everybody know that you love me, you pursue me. And now I'm out here for you, and you what? So that means, as I said that earlier, Karen was a baby, hold dearly of that 15 years love that Sam showed to her in public and in private.
Mm.
So she hold that dearly. And why her own marriage is wilting, dying, she hold that dearly.
Yeah.
So she
So-
shouldn't.
so-
She should let it go, and she shouldn't do that.
In other words, you know, here throughout the movie, these friends are saying how much they love each other, but they're really hurting each other in many ways throughout the movie.
I would say they're hurting themselves.
Yeah.
They're hurting themselves. See the Karen.
Themselves and each other. Yeah.
See Karen. I think she really hurt herself. Why? Now she had a fear outside of marriage with a man, right? And then she has to hide that from Richard,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And that hiding itself is like a wedge,
Yeah.
separate her further
and this-
away from her husband.
And furthermore, this night of passion then will always be compared to the dull times with Richard, and it's just setting it up for more and more heartache.
Yes, Richard is forever less than Sam.
Right.
Right? And so she actually are actively making her own marriage weaker and more dying, right? Should I say? And the problem is she is the one staying in the marriage. So she is tasting the fruit she's making. She's making this marriage weaker and dying,
Yeah.
and she
Right.
she couldn't enjoy it. She's dying with it.
So everyone, we've talked about this at length. We should wrap it up here. So yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed talking it out. And please also remember, hit that like button, subscribe. There's a lot more fun things to come. So until next time, this is Uncle Garrett.
And this is Aunt May.
Goodbye.